Time the fuck out. I didn't even get started on what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Bro, that movie was crazy.
Crazy, Frankie. Yeah.
I was like, what are specials tonight? Yes.
That sounds
no
good.
problem.
I'll have that.
Hey everybody, Specialist in Nothing, back at you again. Oh, I was like, what is he doing with his hand?
He's vibing, man.
Yeah, that's
All
it,
right,
man.
I'm
I don't,
sorry.
I don't have
Vibing,
cool
bro.
shades like Joe, so I was like, let me just.
That's it, man. He's
see
got to
the
do
background.
something. He can't just
That's
sit
it,
here
man.
like this.
All right, my bad. All right, so we're here talking about everything, specializing in nothing. My name is Frank. As always, Danny and Joe. You guys want to say what's up?
What's up? What up?
So, heroes and villains. I love this category. I wanted to talk about this today because I got into like a side conversation the other day with my
Frank's
sister.
been
and my
trying
best
to pull
friend.
this on us for a week.
And but it was a good conversation, and I was like, yo, we should use this. So first, I just want to rattle this out real quick. Since we are gonna do like our favorites, heroes and villains today, I want to do a Frankopedia and just bang that out. A
Yeah, you
hero.
would.
A hero is a person who is admired, idolized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. Doesn't necessarily have to be a superhero, but that would just be the basic definition of a hero. A villain is a character whose evil actions or motives are important to the plot. So again, a villain doesn't necessarily have to be someone that is trying to take over the world in a sense or whatever, something like that. It's someone who has evil actions, evil motives. You know what I mean? Again, doesn't necessarily have to be a super villain, but
Okay, so then like, here's a question: what's the difference between a villain and a supervillain? Is it just like a matter of comic books or movies and stuff, or is there like another level of villain that people don't know about? Then that's how you get supervillain.
no, we'll see. Like to me,
Like, here we go. Ready?
Where
Check
did
this out.
where did you come up with supervillain though? Who said anything about it?
Because
What's it?
I-
superhero and hero and supervillain and villain.
yeah, because
real
to-
quick.
That's like saying,
Just
well, what
remember
about the
that-
super villain? What do you mean? It's a
Well,
villain.
no,
no,
exactly
villain.
what
I've
he's
never
saying. I
heard
can
of that.
answer
That's
it.
not even real.
I've
That
never
doesn't
heard of a
exist.
super villain. It's just a
Yes.
villain or
Yeah.
a hero.
No, because from what the
Come on, man.
definition of what I said, like a villain can just be someone with evil intentions or motives. So like someone like Doc Ock or a Magneto, so that's a super villain. They have superpowers, but there are villains.
Doc
in
Ock doesn't
movies.
have superpowers. He built that shit on his fucking back.
Okay,
bro.
but he could control it. That's kind
Well,
of.
I guess yeah, he's right. That wouldn't really count as a superpower, but perfect example then. So Doc Ock is more of like a normal person that just developed this machine or whatever, whereas
Right, he had
Magneto has
intentions to
actual
do-
superpowers. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Okay,
Here's a
I
good
see you.
question. Ready? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #2.
Yes.
Shredder is regular Shredder, and then he drinks the ooze, and he's Super Shredder. So he goes from, but he doesn't have any more powers except for strength. So is that still
Well, super strength
villain?
is still a superpower.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I would consider.
I think
super
if
strength a
all right, if
superpower.
we're
I
talking
think
about
that's a
the
But
little
now
more
are the
borderline.
turtles superheroes or just heroes?
They're
because they
superheroes.
wore
There's no other
turtles.
turtles like that. They're mutated. They're
So they're
You know what I mean?
superheroes.
absolutely.
So superhero and hero,
Is somebody
as well as
with an
supervillain and
actual-
villain, is something that like levels you up,
Mhm.
right? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
here?
Well, like so, like Loki to me would be like a super villain. You know what I mean? But like I'm
Loki.
trying to think of like
Okay, from Thor.
yeah, you know what I
Marvel and
mean?
shit.
But so I'm trying to think of like other more people that don't necessarily have superpowers off the top of my head right now to compare, like besides Doc Ock. You know what I mean? Someone else that
Wait, just people who just want to see the world burn, like the Joker.
yeah, exactly. Joker is a
So-
perfect example. He doesn't necessarily have any superpowers, you know what I mean? But he was definitely
Nice,
a villain.
Danny. Way to hit that, man.
See, definitely, totally
That's what she
goes.
said.
So now let me ask you this: if you could choose one villain to follow and support, that you would be like fully for their cause or whatever they were trying to put out, who would it be?
That's a good question. I don't necessarily have an answer right away for that. If I could support one villain, I'm gonna, you know what? I gotta look at
Wanna
my movie
pass? I
collection.
got my answer.
Go ahead.
Hey,
You
go.
go.
Loki all day, man.
Fucking,
Really?
you just said Loki. You just
Bro,
could've used based on
we were
that.
just talking about him. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean I can't use him as my
Yeah,
No,
answer.
for
you
real.
make a valid point. I'm not saying you
Why-
can't.
God
Why
of
Loki?
mischief.
Okay.
He's just he's very sneaky. He gets what he needs. Like
And he's
Can
not
fucking-
necessarily fully bad because there are times where he does do good
right.
things
You know what I
and
mean? He's got a
whatever.
heart. He's
You gotta
got a
give me a
heart.
second.
But like his
Okay.
true intentions are to, you know what I mean?
I hear you.
Help Thanos take over the world.
See, it's funny. I'm glad you said his name because that's who I would follow, and I don't want to say
I
it wrong.
love him, man. It's just so fun. And then like just from his character that developed in the movies, it's just a likable
Oh no, I'm not saying Loki.
Villain.
I'm saying the other name that you just said that
What
I
other-
don't want to say.
Oh.
What?
Come
Did
on,
I
Frank.
miss?
You could do it, bro. You should
For
have
a
been
second.
practicing in the mirror after that episode, man.
No, so if I could
Fucking
pick
oh
one,
god.
Thanos.
If-
Thanos.
that would be mine. Yes, absolutely. Everything that he
Thanos?
was
Thanos is your favorite?
Thanos.
But ladies
Uh,
and gentlemen, Frank doesn't know that Thanos is Thanos, and he's like, "Yo, Thanos is like I
I
have
said
a
it
full
wrong
conversation."
one time.
No, it was
One
multiple
time.
times.
Bro, they
I just
only
had to
need
correct
Okay,
you.
but in one
time, bro.
conversation,
You only
I
need
said-
one time to do that.
But anyway, so yes, he would be
Thanos?
if I
You
could
would
follow
follow-
someone. Yeah,
It would be
because
Thanos.
I just I liked
I'm done.
that whole thing, like how like I believe in that. I feel like there's too much people in the world, and like I don't know, like I could
Oh,
deal
Frank, you
with-
think there's too many people in the world? Why don't
Yeah.
you make a vaccination to save everybody from a really weird disease that came out of nowhere?
I'm not getting into that today, but no, I do. The whole thing. And the way, like, how they did
Somebody
the
wants to
story-
voice some unrelated opinions right now.
Not now. No, it's too early or late, whichever you want to think about it.
But yeah, I did. I liked his whole thing of what he stood for. and
Of
what he
like a
believed
perfect
in.
balance in the
Mhm.
universe.
I
See, now
believe
that's
that,
risky
dude.
though. That's
I-
risky though, because you
But
don't know
look at-
who. Let's say you snap. It's just a random 50%.
Well, that's the part of it.
You have
that's
two
terrible.
daughters.
But for every
it's one or the other.
Okay,
Chances
but
are
for
they may
every
or may-
miracle, there has to be something terrible. It's all about balance, right? I'm always going to bring it back to like Star Wars reference because that's just my thing. But to me, it's always about a balance. For something good, there has to be something bad. Otherwise, it wouldn't be good or it wouldn't be bad. It would just be. So if it is something good that's going to happen, some miracle or whatever to make things better, to let things last longer, to whatever, the bad part of that is it comes with it is you know what I mean? You could possibly lose people that are close to you. So could other people. It's
Well,
a random thing. But
that's
that's why
the
I'm all
yin and
for
the
it too,
yang
because
about
it's
life.
random. It's not selected. It's not, there's no favoritism. There's no nothing. It's completely random, but it's for the better cause of the good in the long run. So again, in the movies, I'm not saying he was right, but when you think about it that way, that would be the one cause that I would choose to support. As much as I love Darth Vader, couldn't support him. He'd kill me the first time I messed something up.
I would probably.
Darth Vader's
okay.
pretty dope villain.
Darth
man.
Vader's good shit.
I just
He's
hate that
fucking-
how you never got to see him be like full force Vader. You always saw him like really young, like Anakin teen, like whatever, and he was still powerful. And then you always heard about how Vader was the most fiercest one in the galaxy. But then when you saw him in the movies again, he was already old and stuff. So it kind
He
of
kind of just
upset
walked
me.
around and had that demeanor of.
And that's
a
what, because
villain. He didn't
him and
really-
Luke were like the two, oh my God, strongest. And that's why I'm so happy about Mandalorian in the last episode, how you see Luke. I don't know if I should
I
ruin it.
don't break it.
Come
don't
on,
say
fam.
it.
I was just gonna say,
Frank,
I
you
don't
do
know
this
if I
all
should.
the
I
fucking
didn't
time.
mean to. I was getting
Damn.
into a thing. It's been
You're
out for
such
so
a
long.
dick. It doesn't
Some
matter.
didn't
people haven't
know.
watched it yet.
I didn't know. Okay, but anyway,
It's okay.
it gave me
It's
a
okay.
because I'm like, it's showing things to come of things that I've
Gave you a
always
hard
wanted to
on?
see of how strong and fierce those two
Oh.
were, and I can't wait to see some of that shown actually in scenes and stuff. You know what I mean?
Word.
But-
So the villain I would choose
Sorry, Frank.
to follow
My
is
bad.
probably Dr. Evil from Austin Powers.
Heck
I like where you went with that. That
yes.
still counts.
This is
He's
my
fictional.
guy.
Epic.
Why?
I mean, why?
Mhm. So you'd be his number two?
I would be his number 3, technically. He's just funny as shit. And I like him because I don't know, he's got like this plan for world domination. It just never works out. And that's kind of like my life, where I have a plan to just do things and it just never
Oh
works
my
out.
God.
I feel like I could relate to him the most.
And he wants $1 bajillion million.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
I would pick, yeah, Dr. Evil. But here, so this is a good lead on to our next question. Joe, can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right, so you can hear us. What is
Sorry.
All right, so
I'm back.
to make a villain against the hero, you need a villain to have a hero. You need a hero to have a villain, essentially, right? They go hand in hand together.
There we go.
Correct. So now, do you think that? What am I trying to say? All right, so what is their MO to become a villain? Like, is it revenge or is it like?
Oh, you basically
oh,
talking about like the Joaquin Phoenix Joker story or like something like that describes the villain, like stuff
like
like
how
that.
do you become the villain? Is there too many heroes where you're sick of it, where you're like, we need to be a villain, or are you just like, I need
Or
revenge? Like,
is it
somebody
like
killed
Harvey
my
Dent?
family.
Yeah, see, I was just I
I
feel
feel
like
continue
Harvey
with Harvey
Dent.
Dent. You just
Yeah.
didn't just say the name.
no, I think yeah,
Two-Face?
he's
Yeah.
he's,
So is it like? Go ahead, continue what you're saying.
I was just saying like it depends on the person, kind of like, you know what I mean? Depends
like,
on what
yeah. So
happens to
is
them.
it right?
But
so
I do
now,
think some
what-
people are just
Yeah, but
idiots at the
Harvey Dent
beginning.
was like the white horse of Gotham for a minute.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then all that shit happened in his face, and then he becomes the fucking bad guy. I think it just takes, like a serious
So
fucking turning point in
would
that
you s-
person's life for
there you
them to
go.
become
So
the
would you
villain of
say-
the.
would you say that most villains that we're aware of today, as far as like comic books or movies, are more so made or born?
Again, it depends on
No.
the background of the story.
Right, but this is what I'm saying. Would you say, let's
I
say
think both are made. I think a villain and a hero is made,
you don't
depending
okay, so
on
then-
life events. You know what I
right.
mean?
Now let's
Depending
take
on
let's
what
take
happens
Batman
to
for a
them.
second. Here's a good one. I wanted to talk
It's
about
also
the Dark
like
Knight.
Hitchcock, bro.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean Hitchcock?
He
You know
was
the
a,
movie
he was
Oh,
a
the movie
superhero.
Hitchcock. Yeah,
he was a
okay.
superhero,
Will
but he
Smith,
wasn't the
He was
best.
a superhero, but he was like a fucking loser about it. And
Well, this is something I wanted to bring
he
up.
was a
because
loser about it.
You're just an alcoholic. There's a difference. You
Yeah,
can
I
be an
was-
alcoholic and not be a loser.
But see, I like that because that was a very realistic outlook on being
that
a
was such a
superhero.
realistic.
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like some
I think that
people
best
that could be
explains kind of what we're talking about right now.
like if you feeling the pressures and stuff like that, that's a perfect way to put that. I actually personally really like that movie. I don't know. About
It was a
you.
pretty
Yeah, I
good
thought
movie.
it
I haven't
was
seen it in a while,
great.
but it was really good.
Same.
But this actually, I wanted to talk about Dark Knight earlier because
Okay.
I have something I want to bring up. But yes, so the Joker, we'll say, I'm not gonna say born a villain, but in the movie, you don't really know a background story of it. He
Right.
just kind of wants to watch the world burn. So that's his MO for it. Two-Face, like you brought up, what the fuck is her name? What the fuck's her name?
Talking about with
In
the pigtails?
No. In the movie Dark Knight. Why can't I think of her name?
I don't know.
Rachel. Rachel.
Oh,
Fucking-
the
come on,
love
we've all seen this
interest.
movie.
Oh, Harvey
Yes.
Dent's. Oh,
I didn't know who
okay,
you
I'm
were
sorry, I'm sorry.
talking
Me
about.
neither. I was like, what?
Well, there's how many other
I thought you were talking
hers
about
are in
Harley
the movie
Quinn.
Batman?
I
I
thought
don't
you
know.
were talking about Harley
There's
Quinn.
Poison Ivy.
Like,
There's
no,
fucking...
I specifically said Dark Knight in that movie.
All
We're talking
right,
about it.
it.
dude.
All right. Anyways, so Rachel, whatever happens to, I don't know. Should we give that up? That came out in 2009. I think it's about time we can talk
We
about
can
that.
talk about this. I think I'm good.
Oh,
Rachel
don't ruin
dies.
it. Don't ruin it.
Rachel dies in that one, and Harvey gets his fucking face burnt off. So he becomes the villain, And Bruce Wayne, who is on the teeter of the hero and the villain, because like he said, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. In Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises, in that trilogy, which I think is a fantastic movie trilogy, specifically for superheroes, does he become the villain or does he die the hero? Because the ending of that Dark Knight Rises, you don't necessarily see. It's kind of what you make of it, like Christopher Nolan does in his movies. Is it real? Is it not real? Whatever. The situation is, he flies out to blow himself up to save Gotham. So that's a hero thing. But he does a lot of things that are kind of shady in Dark Knight when people take him as the bad guy. So is he really the good guy or the bad guy? And you could kind of sort of see where I'm going with this as far as Tony Stark and Iron Man, because in Avengers, Tony Stark started off as a weapon tradesman or whatever the thing is, and then he becomes Iron Man. But there's a lot of things that he does.
Well, yeah, even in Civil War, I'm glad where you went with that too. It's
Yeah,
a great
you go.
reference because in
I was-
Civil War, when he tries to arrest Cap and
There
all
you
that
go.
stuff, he was wrong. I'm sorry, I agree with Cap and everything. Tony
I
Stark
agree.
was going about that the wrong way. So I agree. Is he a hero then or a villain?
So there we go. And that's what kind of gets me, because there are some We'll go with movies for now because we don't have any real life heroes and heroes and villains. To be honest with you, all the fucking billionaires that are out here in real life, you would think somebody would be out here fighting crime, but let's not get into that. As far as like the villain and or hero thing goes, Frank, we were talking, you mentioned Venom earlier, but have you guys, that's kind of like,
Well,
it's
yeah,
a
he's
villainous-
considered a hero and a villain, but he started out a villain and then did things to be a hero. But that's like most of the Suicide Squad too. You could talk about that too.
That's a whole separate movie. I really don't like how they played off on that personally.
Not even just the movie, because in
No,
the
he's
comic
saying
books
the
and stuff,
storyline for the comics and
like
shit.
from where it came from. So not necessarily just the movie. I know you're not a comic guy, and I'm not really either in the sense of where I read them now, but just from knowing what I know from when I was younger, I mean, exactly that storyline was villains that came together to save the day because they wanted to be able to do what they wanted to do still at the end of the day. It wasn't really to be the hero. It was for their own benefit, but they were still heroes. They were still doing good things, good deeds. You know what I mean?
So have you guys ever seen the movie V for Vendetta?
A long time ago.
I don't remember it though. Yeah.
I'm not going to get into it if not, but long story.
The train or whatever.
Yes, kind of. The guy wears the V mask, right?
Yeah.
And essentially he's destroying the city in order to save the people from the government. Wink, wink. Anybody listen out there who's a billionaire who wants to save people from the government? Wink, wink. So I was going to reference that, but if you guys don't know it that well, I'm not going to get too deep into it. But there are other, I guess you could say, villains that are looked at as heroes and heroes looked at as villains. For instance, I'll give you two good ones. Gru from Minions, The Despicable Me, and the Grinch. Both start off as villains, but then kind of give you the hero aspect of it. The Grinch gives back the presents after stealing it because he's been treated so wrong. Something in his heart changed and blah, blah, blah. And he's like a good guy now. Same thing with Gru. He wanted to take over the world and steal the moon. But now all of a sudden he's got 3 little girls and, you know, it's so fluffy, I'm gonna die type of shit going on. So Gru's not really like the badass 22-year-old he used to be.
Well, see, it's funny. So you see so many stories where the villain ends up turning good or doing something good or whatever. I don't know if you actually see that many where the villain actually ends up getting what he wants, besides in Avengers when he does the snap, but even then they end up going back and getting it back. But you get to see what happens if he actually finished his plan. You know what I mean? But what is the plan after a villain conquers the world? Like, what is the next step? What even happens?
That's true.
You know,
why
or
don't
even
we ask Joe Biden?
Perfect example too, Star Wars. Because Palpatine.
This guy's on a fucking political kick today, man.
Right? I'm on 16 hours.
A lot of subtle subliminal sub-drops there, right?
Man, I'm sorry, guy.
Horrible. So wait, what about in Star Wars though too? Because Palpatine is the Emperor and he's in charge of like everything. So the Republic ends up turning bad by the last couple movies, and that's the same thing. That's another one that shows that the villain does end up conquering. Yes, at the end of the day, do they end up come back and saving and whatever? But for a long time, he's in charge of the whole Galactic Republic, and he is bad.
So real quick, not sorry to cut you off, but in what movies is that? Because I get confused with all of them. Is that
okay? So 4, 5, and 6 came out first,
right? And that's already,
and then 1, 2, and 3, and then 7, 8, 9. Right. But if you watch them in the actual order, 1, 2, and 3.
Not numerical order, the chronological order, correct?
Yes, the chronological order. 1, 2, and 3. Palpatine is the emperor. He's like, you know, senator, whatever. He's in like the Republic, but the Republic is still good. Then in the second set of 3, you kind of start to see him coming out as bad, but you don't know if he's actually it yet. You still always see the hooded person, like, you know, he's bad for the Sith, but you don't really know who he is yet. Then when Anakin finally turns, that's when you find out who he is. Then in the last 3, Palpatine is in charge of the Republic. There are no more Jedi, or like the couple that are left are like Rey or, you know, Luke Skywalker that's being found in this. Blah, blah. But Palpatine is known for being bad. And then that is when the Republic is bad. So when you hear people talk about Star Wars and they're like, oh, the Republic is not, there were times that the Republic was good. It was a good government, but it had a bad apple in it that nobody knew about the whole time. He was the worst bad apple from the
sleeper cell.
Yeah, he was a spy in the sense, and he was on the inside. Ooh. And then that's how he blew everything up, because he took control from them while killing away the Jedi. Well, it's not, Anakin helped him in the sense of when he had his rage outburst by killing all those kids in the room after his mom dies and like all that stuff. This is why I really like the Clone Wars too, because I just started watching the Clone Wars. and it explains so much that happens
That's
to
not in the
Anakin
movies.
specifically.
So that's
Yes.
what I was gonna say. At what movie is the Republican in control?
Well, the
And, like,
Republic is always in control. The Republic is like the government. Like, so for us, it's like, the US military, like whatever. It's like the government. So the Republic is always in control. It's just there's points where it is actually good and points where it's actually bad. So like in the last 3 movies, when it's bad and you hear about the rebels are all the good people that were in the Republic that are trying to fight for it to be good again.
okay. So now this actually,
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. So
No, go ahead,
during
go
the
ahead.
whole thing with the Republic and the rebels and that too, if you ever hear anything about the separatists were always bad. While the Republic was still good, the separatists was all the bad people that were trying to take over the Republic. But then as the Republic turned bad and all the Jedis were wiped away, you didn't hear anything about the separatists anymore because that's who was running the Republic. And that's why the rebels came out. I'm sorry,
so
I could talk about
it's
this
actually,
Shit, man.
I could talk about it all. I love
Bro, I
Star
love Star Wars, but like, oh, I can never get. Yeah, have fun.
Hey. But
all right. So here's another one that kind of actually, what you were saying leads into a question that is more of a moral question for us.
okay.
Now, is it okay to do bad things for a good reason? And on the same term, is it okay to do good things for a bad reason? There's really no such thing as doing good things for a bad reason, I guess. But
No, there is.
after the main question, yeah, like
This
what?
like doing a good thing for a bad reason would be like something for self-interest or self-gain. So
Okay, true,
technically that's
yeah.
considered doing something good because it's something good for yourself, but doing something bad. So that I would
So then
be
first
I would say
question.
no, because that would be more, bad because it's bad intention.
Selfish.
I think it
Well,
always comes
it
down
depends.
to intentions. Like if you're doing something bad to be good, like in the sense of like like how we're talking about Civil War and stuff like that. Absolutely. I think that's, considered good overall. Even if you did something bad, it was for a good cause. Now, who determines what is good or bad of what you're doing? Because again, in that movie, Iron Man saw it as he was doing something bad, but Cap saw it as he was doing something good. But when you look at like the overall moral like outlook from most people, everybody agreed with Cap. So
Doing
that's why I would say
something
that's
bad. All right.
Watch out.
I'm like talking to myself, I guess.
I
because,
know. He was like, yeah, well, the bad thing, I guess. What'd you say?
nothing. I'm agreeing with Frank. Like, it's a good like reference.
So then, all right, let's do an example of doing bad things for a good reason. Can you give me one of those? Because it's tough. I mean, like you said,
Punisher.
doing a good
The Punisher.
revenge, then essentially killing the person who killed your family, or John Wick, kill your
But
dog.
not even. He was doing a lot of other good things. Like he helped Daredevil. He was helping the what's the reporter chick's name? I forget her name.
I don't even know.
But he did do a lot of good things. That show
Karen?
that was on Netflix. Yep, Karen. It was Karen. That show that was on Netflix, I actually really did like that show. I thought he played a great part too. But the Punisher is definitely a perfect example of that. He did so many bad things. So many people looked at him as bad. And then even when he was in court, he said, "I'd do it again."
Yeah.
Because to
Okay,
him, what
so
he was
now-
doing was the right thing. And he was killing all bad people. Like, don't get me wrong, what he was doing was bad, but again, he was taking down all bad people. So to me,
So
again, the
all right,
moral.
this is where I was, not that I was gonna go with, but this is what you brought up. This is a little bit of a sidestep, but let's just roll with it here for a second. So this whole like child trafficking thing that's kind of like not spoken about from everybody. People are like dying, like Avicii. He was coming out with a documentary about child trafficking and sex slave, and he was doing, I guess you could say, this isn't making sense. It sounded better in my head because I was gonna say
What was
he was
Avicii
promoting.
doing? Child sex trafficking.
No, they were making a documentary. Actually, one of the music videos that he came out with right before he died shows sex slave, child trafficking, and shit like that. And they're coming back to kill them. Okay, so this is where I was going with this.
Right.
I'm gonna look up the name of the song and the music video, but in the music
Yeah.
video, it shows a progression of throughout life, and kids are sold to these, I guess, rich guys as child traffickers, and then later on they are freed or they escape and they come back and kill the pedophiles or the sex slave traffickers, whatever. So now they're
In
doing.
an Avicii video, this is happening.
This is an Avicii video. Yeah, we'll post a link to this or whatever.
Yeah,
but
please. I've never seen this.
these
I've never
people
even heard of it.
essentially are doing bad things for a good reason, where they're taking revenge on killing people who were pedophiles or sex slaves or child trafficking, human trafficking, whatever it is, and they're coming back years later to kill them. Where I was kind of going with this whole doing bad things for a good reason, for the good of the community, for the good of the world, or I don't know what you would call it. I guess community works. And then on the other hand, there's doing good things for a bad reason, like Frank mentioned about being not necessarily selfish, but let's say you have to forge a signature on a test grade for school that you don't want to show your parents. Doing a bad thing for a good reason because you don't want to get in trouble by your parents. You got to do what you got to do, type of thing. Those are probably weak examples.
I was just gonna say that was a kind of weak example, but
it sounded a lot better in my head when I was thinking about it.
I do get doing something for self-gain that is bad. But again, at the end of the day, I think that the morals are still bad there. So that counts more as a bad thing to do.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit.
Switch it up a little bit.
If you
Real quick, before you do that, I'm sorry. It's Avicii. It's called, if I'm not mistaken, For a Better Day.
Yeah, I'm reading it right now. Honestly.
Okay, so there you go. If anyone's listening,
That's wild. I can't believe I've never even heard about this whole thing.
It's called For a Better Day, and
Pretty
the fucking music video is crazy, and it really gets into the whole child trafficking thing, which is something that I did want to discuss. But we'll.
I was going to say I haven't seen it yet or watched anything about it, but Danny has told me this before because we have talked about doing an episode like that. If you guys want to hear us do an episode like that, comment somewhere at one of our Instagram, Facebook, something like that. Give us a comment. Let us know if you guys want to do something like that. We'll do it for the future because we've been debating about it and we're kind of unsure, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me change it. Say,
if you could choose 5 superheroes to put on a team together to defeat someone evil that was trying to take over the world, who would you recruit / pick?
All right, is this like Marvel versus Capcom going on?
Doesn't have to be. It could
Street
be
Fighter
anything.
versus
'Cause I'll tell you what. One of mine is in Star Wars, so it could be. I'm mixing it up here. Like this is first time to mix.
Of any heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any heroes ever. All right, this is tough. I probably should have thought about this earlier. All right. Who wants to go first? I gotta write them down. I'm thinking about
Frank,
it.
you want to take lead on that, pal?
I could do it. So number 1 would be Luke Skywalker.
Nice.
Hands down, has to be Luke Skywalker. Number 1. Number 2 would be Thor. Love Thor.
I would.
Number 3 would probably be Hulk, but not for the angry side of Hulk. Like, yes, that would be useful at times, but for when he's Bruce Banner and he's
That would be useful
smart.
at times. So
well, it is.
smart
Don't get me
Hulk.
wrong. Well, no. Well, yeah, I guess after he does the whole crossfade thing and whatever. Yeah, because you need that whole science aspect and stuff to me too. I wouldn't want Tony Stark because he's too cocky and arrogant and just I don't want him. So I would say Thor and Hulk would be my 2 Marvel. I always liked Gambit from X-Men. He was one of my favorites, to be honest. And I'd have to go with Michelangelo. I'm a Ninja Turtle. I'm a Ninja Turtle guy, and I love the nunchucks. Those are my favorites. So yeah, those are my 5.
Joe, would you
5.
like to steal some of my superheroes? Or-
I might. Honestly, I have some villains I would want on my team. Does that count?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Sure.
well, yeah, especially if it's to be someone that was like in Suicide Squad or something like that. Like you want to say like a Venom.
I
or
would
something that's
so
considered
take the
birth.
Punisher, number 1.
Love it.
Sick.
And from that same world, I would take Daredevil.
Okay.
Always one of
Sick.
my favorite superheroes. A third one, I would do Wolverine. Because he's such a badass mofo. You know what I'm saying?
I love
did
Wolverine
I
too.
steal that from you?
Yeah.
I do
I'm
love
sorry,
Wolverine too.
bro.
No joke. If we ever had a son, I said I wanted to name him
Wolverine.
Logan.
Oh, Logan. So sick, dude. They made him look so fucking hard in that one.
Oh, I love Wolverine.
I would take Venom.
Okay.
Why the hell would
4.
I not want a fucking dark Spider-Man with a nasty ass attitude on my side?
And a big appetite.
And 5, I would take Thor, my guy, God of Thunder.
I have
Fucking
6.
never dies. 6. Take
We're not
6.
surprised, Danny.
I'm
Danny's gonna have 10, but he'll give us the 6 to
and
make
I
it.
crossed off 3. So
All
Let's
right,
hear it. Let's hear it.
let's hear the 9.
So-
Give us the full 9.
no, I'm not gonna give it a full 9. All right, so it would be Thor, 100%.
I like
It
how
would
he's
prob-
across the board.
Thor,
Yeah.
Thor's the fucking man.
He's the man, dude.
Thor, Spider-Man, Wolverine. I'm gonna pick Leonardo because you picked Michelangelo. Thor, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Leonardo, Batman, and Neo from the Matrix.
Neo from the Matrix. I like
Yeah.
that. Okay. All
That
right.
was good. Neo
I was
from
gonna
the
squeeze in
Matrix.
Deadpool and the Terminator, but whatever.
Oh, Deadpool, huh? He's a
Alright.
fucking.
That's it. That's my top 5.
I like
Okay,
Deadpool.
Here's
He's
a
a big
question.
top 10.
Deadpool's So that's
Like
who is the
Wolverine for
villain?
me would be number 6. Like he wasn't in my 5, so I can't say. But I am kind of like, oh, I didn't mention Wolverine, but I'm still happy
your
with
number
my 5.
6. Your number 6 favorite superhero is going to be your first son's name. Okay. Okay.
No, I really like the name Logan Frank Papalardo. If I had a son,
You would name your
Actually,
son Logan
does
Frank
sound good.
Papalardo?
Well, my name is Frank, so I wanted to
Oh
incorporate
shit!
it.
Your name is Frank.
I'm just
That's
saying, so I wanted to
crazy.
incorporate it. So, but I did. I always liked the name Logan.
Logan
It was such a
Francis.
strong name.
Logan
And,
Francis.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. People
Got
always
it.
ask me my whole life too, is your real name Francis? And I
Logan
have to tell
Paul
them no.
Papalardo. I would fucking die, dude.
No, but I do. I love the name Logan. It makes me think of Wolverine.
Okay, so let's name a villain you don't want to go against.
Someone that you don't want to go against?
Yeah, like tell me a villain. I'm not very good with villains, but like someone you don't want to be up against with your crew, where you're just like, oh shit, do we got this? No, we got this, right? We got this. Like, who the fuck would it be? I would, if
Ooh.
I can't think of a specific villain, but I would say someone who's more of the witty side and the smarter side, who can outsmart us as a team, opposed to Strength. Because Strength, you fucking got it all right here. Thor and Wolverine, they're kicking ass. You got Hulk, he's kicking ass. You know. But if it's like a Lex Luthor type of villain, or a villain who doesn't necessarily need to be the one who's doing the shit, like a
Mhm.
Kang or Krang from
Well, I was thinking like Mystique,
fucking
someone
Ninja
that
Turtles.
that could trick you.
that's a tough one. That is a tough
Mystique
one.
would be a difficult villain to face. Or even though you said whatever about Strength, I like Abomination, the one that so you see the Hulk with Edward Norton.
yeah.
The other
that
Hulk
guy.
that he fights, that other Hulk that he fights, that's the guy from the army. Like that's Hulk has a difficult time facing him by himself. So that's another one that I think would be. But Mystique would probably be harder in the sense of, like I said, she could be
Oh.
anyone. She could change. Anytime you don't see her, she could change who she is and be
Yeah.
someone different. So it makes it so difficult.
She really gets into it like that. That's how she gets to where she's got to get. She can disguise herself as fucking anybody.
Mhm.
You know who I'm not fucking with? If I
You
ever
not
had to come
fucking-
across this villain, Goro.
Goro.
Fucking
Who's Goro?
combat.
Wow, dude. Frank, did you see the new Mortal Kombat on HBO
Did you
Max?
not play the video
No.
games?
Hang up. Hang
It's
up.
old, man. I don't know.
Dude, Goro, the fucking Prince Goro with the 4 arms.
Bro, with the 4
Oh,
arms, the big
okay, I know who you're
ponytail,
talking about.
and it's like fucking 20 something feet tall.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
That motherfucker comes at me with my squad, I'm gonna be a little fucking nervous.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Dude, the new Mortal Kombat that came out is
So
so,
sick.
fire. In my
Yeah, so
opinion,
good. I
they
like it.
shouldn't have made a movie. They should have made it a series, a 10-part series, 1 hour each. And each one was like them going through the spirit realm or the regular realm to try to gather people. So the last 2 episodes could be Mortal Kombat, the final, like battle and shit. It was a
That'd be
great
pretty
fucking
epic,
movie.
dude.
It was so good. So good. Worth it. They're gonna come out with another one, 100%.
Oh yeah.
But I
without a
really
doubt.
think if they would have stretched it to a series, it would have been so much better.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Shit, man. A lot of stuff from back then.
I ain't fucking with Goro, man.
So back to what we were saying, I wanted to bring this up about like the heroes who become the villains or the villains who become the heroes. There was a movie I watched the other day. You guys ever see Training Day with Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke?
Of course.
You ever see
Yeah.
Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro
Yes.
and Scarface with Al Pacino?
Okay, yes.
Those
Mm-hmm.
are all movies of the guy who's made to be the good guy because he gets shit on and then he becomes the bad guy at the end. Well, not
Yeah.
necessarily Training Day. Training Day, Denzel Washington was like the good guy who becomes the bad guy. I guess at the same time, I don't know, but you get what I'm saying with Taxi Driver and Scarface.
Yeah.
Here's one. I was watching Beetlejuice the other day too. This was on at my station, and I was like, "Is he a bad guy or is he a good guy?"
It's a good question, man.
You know?
Beetlejuice? He's got to be a bad guy.
Does he though? Because I mean,
I don't know. I think he's a
just
good guy. I
out
think
to
he's a-
fuck with people, man. He ain't
No.
trying to help nobody.
I think he has good intentions, but he's a bad guy because he helps the girl, the little girl in the movie. That's in
Yeah,
the
but
Lydia.
at the end of the
finds
day,
him or
he's
whatever.
just trying to get what he wants. He doesn't want to be stuck in that.
but now this comes around again to the whole doing bad things for good reasons. He's
Yeah.
helping people for the wrong intentions, right?
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know if I would consider him.
Man, my guy Beetlejuice.
Yeah, boy.
So I gotta
So-
say too, the Joker would probably be one of the scariest villains to go up against too, just because again, depending on which Joker you're talking about, but if you're talking about like Dark Knight Joker, like he just wanted to see the world burn. He was freaking crazy. And then if you're
Yeah, it was
talking about like
nonstop in that,
Gotham
man.
Joker, he was same thing, but just very intelligent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotham Joker is probably one of my favorite Jokers, to be honest with you. And I know it's not a movie and it's a series, but that character is probably my favorite Joker. And I can't wait
I
to see
never
more of that
watched
come out.
Gotham, but I watched like this compilation of like all these clips of the guy or the kid that plays Joker in that, and he looks fucking
He does
Pretty
to
good,
be
man.
a split personality schizophrenic.
Yeah, he fucking
plays
nailed
it
that
really
shit.
good.
Really well.
He does. That's the kid from Shameless, right?
Yeah, that's Ian.
Yeah, dude.
Mhm.
He's awesome actor. Awesome.
So here's another thing that I wanted to talk about. And I don't know if you guys are up to date with it, but this is something, once you brought this topic up to me, I was like, all right, this clicked right away. Have you guys watched Cobra Kai?
No, we haven't.
Okay. Joe.
Of course we have.
Well, this is for the audience, not you guys.
Go ahead, continue.
There's no spoilers in this. I'm
Wait,
not
you
going
haven't
to
seen it
spoil
yet,
it.
Joe?
I still never watched it,
Oh my
Frank.
god. How
Bro,
many
it's a
times have we
long
talked about this
series,
show?
Bro,
man.
it
What
goes
do you
so
mean,
quick,
bro?
It does. I
It's
watched
like-
that whole series in like a week and a half.
Bro, legit, fucking, I'm telling you, man, it goes by quick. They're
So
like
good.
35, 38-minute episodes, and you just
So good.
flow through them. It doesn't even, you don't even realize you're
Honestly,
going.
can I say this too? Probably single-handedly the best show from Blast from the Past that they
Yeah.
redid. That was so
100%.
good. Like any shows,
100%.
like, and not to compare it to like Fuller House or something like that, but any shows like that that they did like a reboot that
That
was
they
a show
bring
back in
back?
back in the day that they brought back to redo. This was the best one. It was the
Joe, I'm
best.
telling you, man, watch it. So
hands
good.
down the best. I
So-
You
went into
aren't
the
the
show
only ones who've
skeptical.
told me. I believe it. I just haven't
went into
gotten
the
to
show-
watching all of it yet, man.
Yo, I watched that movie that you told me to watch. What was it? The fucking Banksy, not Banksy, the
Banksy.
no, when they're all in the building and they'll work for the company,
Oh, the effect.
the Blanco experiment.
Belko.
Oh,
experiment.
Belko.
Belko
You watch
experiment.
Belko.
Dude,
Bro, it's an hour and a half. That's one night. You sit down, you put on a movie, and it's done. I have to
Okay.
take a whole week, maybe 3 weeks, to watch all these episodes, bro.
But trust me, once you watch the
Joe.
first episode for 40 minutes, you're going to want to
You're
just
hooked.
watch the rest of it. You are hooked. I
Yo,
swear.
you and we watched the whole season 3 of Stranger Things in one night. So don't tell me that it can't be done.
Dude. All right.
not tell me it can't be done.
You're
It's
right.
true.
And
I'm
the
telling
longer
you.
you wait, the more episodes are going to come out. The next season, it'll be
We got
longer.
season 4 coming out. But listen, what I was trying to get at with this, I'm not without spoiling it. Joe, you've seen Karate
No,
Kid,
you-
right?
I already heard all about the show,
Okay.
so you could talk about it.
But you've
I
seen
just gotta
Karate
watch
Kid.
it. Yes.
You know how in the movie Johnny Lawrence is the bad guy because he's bullying Daniel, and
Yes.
he wins. This show twists that whole story back and forth.
Somewhat.
I'm not-
Somewhat.
Right. I'm not going to give too much away for you, but it's crazy because in the show, compared to the movie, it's like who's the villain, who's the hero,
Well,
and it's not necessarily hero
not-
villain. Go ahead.
Okay,
Frank.
good. No, good. I
No,
didn't
no,
wanna-
go ahead.
Well, I was like, not
I-
necessarily who's the villain and who's the hero, but to me, it shows you that there's no straight villain or hero. Sometimes
This is
there
what
is
I'm
a
getting
gray
at.
area in real life where heroes do bad things and be looked at as the villain. And like, that's what he's saying. Like, because Johnny Lawrence does
And
do a lot of good
villains
things. He
can
does
do good things
change.
to become
He
the
does
hero.
whatever. But then there
all
are
about
things that he does
perspective.
where people still be like, oh, see, he's the same guy. Oh, that's not blah, 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 because he's been known for that. So
Yeah.
it definitely.
It's one of those where, like you said before, about perspective with the Captain America and Iron Man thing. Like, it's all
Absolutely.
about the point of view of it.
Mhm.
So, well, Joe,
Word,
since
okay.
you didn't necessarily
But same
see
thing.
it,
Bro, talk about it. You could talk about
No, because
this.
even
This
same
I'm
thing,
not gonna
even
get
in the
mad
show,
about.
like Daniel LaRusso is
Mandalorian
still
was
the
a
good
big
guy,
deal. This
even in the
is-
whole movie, even at, like, or in the whole show, even at the end, like he still turns out to be good. But there are things that he does that are asshole things where he's considered
Right.
bad, and like
Right.
you know
On
the
both
scale
sides,
kind
where-
of tips to Johnny a little bit, and then comes back to him, and like it does, it goes back and
That's-
forth. And the kids in that movie, the way that they
They're in
played it so
between,
good is because
so-
exactly it's like kids being in between their parents on top of having their own problems in school. So it's a great like combination of like a 13 reasons why aspect without like all the
Okay.
sensitive
crazy
and,
drama
like,
of like yeah all that extra stuff. It's more of just like basic real drama of like my parents and don't get along and this and that blah blah and the stuff we have to deal with, but we still deal with each other at school and being in the same neighborhood type of thing. And
Right.
dude, it was really good. I gotta say, it was definitely enjoyable. Dude, when they fight in the school, fucking best scene ever.
All right, dude.
Best scene ever. That's all I'm gonna say.
So,
Best scene ever.
oh my God, it was crazy.
Such a dope scene. You do, Joe. It's like
Joe,
20
you're
kids
missing
fighting
out, I'm telling
karate
you.
in the school.
I'm
It's
telling you, you're
freaking
missing out.
dope. It's dope.
That's the end of season 2, right?
Yeah.
That's the end of season 2, Jude. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, fam. If you started today, you'll watch 3 episodes because they're short, they're quick, they go.
Yeah.
But
I think they're 25
anyways,
minutes.
Something like that. They go, and I'm telling you, man.
I'm gonna watch it. I promise you I'm gonna watch it. I do. I promise I'm gonna watch it.
That's it. So, I guess I have one more thing I want to say, and this is kind of comical. Not comical, but I'm gonna play a little thing from it that is comical. A hero or a villain? Is it the Wicked Witch of the East or the Wicked Witch of the West, bro? Who is the hero? Who is the villain?
They're
Because you
sisters,
got
right?
their
To the
sisters.
West, bro.
Hold on.
You can be to the East, bro.
Her sister was a witch, right? And what was her sister? A princess. The Wicked Witch of the East, bro.
East, bro.
You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong?
My favorite
She
movie.
wore a crown and she came down in a bubble.
Bubble dog.
Okay.
Grow up.
Grow up.
Get educated.
So basically,
Bro,
this is what I'm
Subtronic
trying to get
sampled
at.
Are you gonna
that
explain
shit.
this viral incident right now?
Fucking awesome.
For those that don't know what happened in this clip.
So have you seen the clip?
Yeah,
Everyone's
I fucking
heard
love
the
that
clip.
clip. You kidding me? I've done that clip on
Subtronics is,
TikTok.
yeah, he sampled it. So it's a guy arguing with his boy about whether or not she's a princess or a witch or good or bad, whatever the case is. It's funny. Check it out. Wicked Witch of the East, bro. It's on YouTube. But what I'm trying to get at is, have you seen the Broadway show Wicked,
No.
Joe?
No, I haven't. It's like the one I have not seen that we've been trying to. And then pandemic happened. We never seen it.
This isn't necessarily a spoiler because the whole Broadway show
That's
is
all
based
right.
on
I
this,
heard
but-
about the whole show already. So
The show Wicked is based on the Wicked Witch of the East before she becomes the Wicked Witch. So you see what happens, and she's treated horribly in school and this and that, whatever. She winds up turning green with envy because she gets fucked over and then becomes the Wicked Witch of the East. So what I'm trying to get at is, again, having things been done to you to cause you to have a reaction to become evil or a hero are, I guess you could say, the fundamentals of what makes a hero or a villain. And
Well, again,
I
I
just
think it comes
Yeah.
down to the person. You know, based on what happens to you, how you react to it. Because, dude, perfect example. How many times has something bad happened to one of us where, like, you're a very fucking positive person? Don't get me wrong. I feel like I'm a positive person, but you are very positive. Whereas, like, if something terrible happened to one of us, I feel like we would be more compelled to do something, you know what I mean? Like revenge or this, that, blah, blah, blah. Whereas you would be the person to be like, nah, this is going to drive me to do something even better, to make this better for someone else, or blah, blah, blah. Whereas other people more have like a self-interest type of thing. Again, I think the hero or the villain comes down to your own self-interest and how selfless you are.
yes and no, because there's a point where you could push a good person so far till they get to that point, and then they'll unleash hell and become the worst person you've ever met in your life. You know what I'm saying? It's like poking a bear. That bear is gonna attack you eventually. I try really hard to not be that bear, but there's a point, and I'm an Aries, so I'm fucking stubborn and I'm spiteful and I could be a prick sometimes. I know this. All of my previous girlfriends have told me, but I'm working on that. I'm trying to get good again. But what I'm saying is you can be as positive as you want. There's a limit with everybody. And what happens after that limit depends on the type of person you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you're pushed and pushed and pushed, and one day you just turn around and people are like, wow, I wouldn't have expected it from him. Well, you fucking pushed enough. And now there's that line that you crossed, and now you're over the edge and there's no turning back. And there's a quote, this doesn't necessarily has to do with it, but I think the quote is, I just fucked it up. Hold on. You're only the best self. No, something about like once your reputation is ruined, you are free. So people think you're such a good person, you'll never do this, you'll never do that. Well, you're pushed to that limit, and then you do something outlandish and your reputation is ruined. You're a free person. You can do whatever you want. People are going to expect you to be the best person because they can see you be the worst person. And people who've seen you be the worst person won't imagine you being the best person that you've been once before. So
I like that.
kind of to wrap up what I was going to say, heroes and villains, they can be one and the same. They're always separated because it's a divide and conquer. But there are people who will agree with heroes and who will agree with villains. I'll agree with Frank, where there could be a balance in the universe, the yin and the yang of the reality. But then I could agree with Joe of the heroes being the better part of society, you know, whatever the case is. So that's it. That's what I got to say about that. That's all there's I got to say about that.
I gotta say, this was a very interesting episode. It took some weird turns that I didn't expect it to. Went to some nice side conversations.
Thank you, Stanley.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
No, it did. It was great.
Mr. Positive.
If you want to believe us, go read his bio. It's on
Fuck you, man.
Please update it. He's trying to turn a new leaf.
Oh, man.
You
He's
wanna wrap
working
it?
on things.
You gonna wrap it?
Yeah.
Wrap it up, Danny. Let's do it. Let's hear it, bro. Wrap us.
Ladies and
Everybody wants
gentlemen.
to hear you.
No, thank you all so much for the likes, listens, shares, and follows. We appreciate your support. We love the comments.
Always.
And the feedback is great. We're doing fantastic. We're proud to be here. We're happy to be here. This is fun. I'm enjoying this. I know Frank's enjoying this, and I'm pretty sure Joe's got his shady shades on, so he's enjoying this.
Wait, can I do one last
Go
thing
for it.
real
Yeah,
quick?
I was
So,
gonna.
just shout out because I was looking at some stats again today, and our 90s part 1 episode has been taken off, as we know. But Texas, Houston and Dallas, Texas, we got almost 100 downloads from each. People have been sharing us around in Texas, so thank you guys so much for sharing us.
Texas.
Ohio still right up on top of the board. Chicago is up there. Illinois,
Windy City.
LA, California, North Carolina. I know that's your friend is down there,
SoCal.
Danny. So Joe, shout out to them.
LA.
Pennsylvania's on the board, so shout out to my family and friends out there. And New York, obviously. I mean, we're big in New York. We're like over 3,000 in New York.
Fucking home
We-
turf.
While we're at it, I'm going to jump on that train and shout out to Cassandra from Chicago. Thank you very much. And Will and Jess from North Carolina, Randy and
Yeah.
Will from Florida. And even though Valerie doesn't listen, she still supports. So I guess thank you anyway.
Thanks,
Yo,
pal.
real quick too, for any of our like supporters that are our weekly supporters and stuff like that, we do have merchandise.
Oh, yeah,
now.
we got merch.
If you guys want, I know we talked about how we had the tank tops and the t-shirts. Danny's actually wearing a tank top now. I am also now getting hoodies. We got heavy and thinner hoodies. We got mugs, mouse pads,
Beanies.
Just
beanies,
buy it, take a picture, send it to us. We
composite
want to
notebooks.
post it, man. We just
The
want to
com-
see people wearing our shit.
Yeah,
That's
but
it. For
the co-
fun.
The composite
Get
notebooks
it.
are like my favorite. So if you're someone that like needs a
Oh,
notebook or
school
something,
starting.
notebooks.
yeah, those are cool too. So we got stuff like that. So just hit us up, comment to us on Instagram, DM
Let
us, email
everybody-
us, hit us up on the website, whatever it is, we will get it out to you. We will be adding a buy section on the website soon.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day.